Downstairs, Andi Petrillo. Oh, here's Brad May in the hallway getting ready for tonight's game. And what a guy. He is just soaking it up as he gets ready to play his 1,000th NHL game. Of course, everybody looking back and remembering that infamous May Day call. And Bob McGill joins us now. And I wonder, Bob, do you have any May memories for us?
Well, I think the biggest thing I remember about Brad May was when I first retired from playing, I played in a celebrity golf tournament, and Brad May was there, and he was in my foursome. And it was pretty cool because I can remember playing, I think my last couple years, he was just coming into the league. And he told me, he said, you know, when I first played, he said, I was 9 years old when you started with the Toronto Maple Leafs, and he remembered me being the tough guy that I was, and I was kind of one of the players he sort of looked or modeled himself after. But at the end of my career, when I played against him his first couple years, I was like staying away from him because he was the new young guy coming up. So it was kind of that mutual respect. And, you know, every time I've seen him over the years, we always have a good talk and whatever. He's just a great guy. And speaking with him today, I'm so proud of him because, I mean, to get 1,000 games, it's unbelievable that he's lasted as long as he had. Never had too many easy games, and good on him that he's done it.
He's a quality guy. There's no question off the ice. Now, Rick Jeanneret, the man who made that May Day call, is downstairs with Andi Petrillo. Let's check in now with them. Andi.
Thank you, guys. Well, I'm with the man who made May Day famous, gave Brad May his nickname. And you remember him when he was a young pup. Did you think you'd be calling a game where he's playing in his 1,000th?
Well, actually, no. To be honest, when I first saw him play in the NHL, I didn't know that he'd make 100 games, never mind 1,000. And I say that because of the style of play that he played his entire career. This gung-ho, hell-bent for leather. Don't worry about who I'm taking on, who I'm fighting, or anything else. And the fact that he's lasted 1,000 games. I mean, most of the gunslingers, and I think I'm being complimentary when I say it, don't last that long in the NHL. Well, yeah. And he has, and along the way he scored a couple of timely goals, including the May Day goal.
What do you remember most about that moment?
I think the fact that he beat Ray Bourque before he did anything else, before he went in on goal and scored. I mean, that was the incredible part of it. Not too many folks got by Ray Bourque, and you know, when he was in his prime, and he was in his prime at that time. But he beat him first of all, and then went in and scored the goal, and the building just erupted.
Yeah, well, we see what he can do out on the ice. You mentioned he was a bit of a grinder as well, and he's lasted this long, but also known as that character guy in the dressing room. So to know that he's lasted this long and has not been jaded either, what does that mean?
Well, I think it's probably it's in the genes, I guess, and I'm sure it goes back to his parents, and more power to them too. That Brad came along and played so well, so often, and was so respected in the NHL.
Are we going to at least get a little May Day out of you tonight?
You'll get one. If he scores, you'll get one. Honestly,
a big hit.
I'll be all over it. I'll be all over it if he scores.
We'll be looking forward to it. All right, so the man, as we mentioned, Rick Jeanneret, who made May Day famous, and now we're going to head inside the Leafs dressing room to hear what some of his teammates had to say about him.
1,000 games, I think, is really a testament to someone's longevity in the league. You got to be doing something right for so long, and you know, being from Buffalo, he really endeared himself to the fans of Buffalo. You know, it's a blue-collar city. He plays that way, and I'm just really, really happy for him. And the way it's worked out where it's against Buffalo, I think it's going to be special for him.
I mean, he's just a good guy to have around. He's taught me a lot. I mean, so much experience that he's had in this league, and obviously, you know, he's won before. And at the same time, I'm sure he's gone through some growing pains too throughout in the league, and you know, on a team that you know, maybe is rebuilding a little bit. So no, he's got some good advice always, and always seems to have the right answer. And he's a good talker, and you know, he helps me out a lot. Sometimes I ask him for advice, and other times he'll just come up to me if he sees something, and he'll let me know kind of how things work.
And to be able to survive 1,000 games is an amazing accomplishment, especially, you know, the way Brad's had to play.
Hey, Brian.
Well, it was a big night, will be a big night, by the way, for Brad May tonight. A memorable night last night in New Jersey for one Christian Hansen, who became the 7th Leaf to score his first NHL goal in a Maple Leaf uniform this season. Playing on a line alongside of Jason Blake and Matt Stajan. Blake and Shen would pick up assists on this goal, and of course he goes on to beat his idol growing up. Christian, how did it feel?
So everyone was talking about getting in your first NHL game against Philadelphia Flyers. Just a few games later, you get your first NHL goal. How did that feel?
It was pretty amazing. I mean, Martin Brodeur is probably the best goaltender to ever play the game, so to be able to pop one against him and have it be my first is pretty neat.
Is that what makes it a little bit more memorable, too? Is that it was against a goaltender like that who's also this year having a career year?
Oh, definitely. I mean, I've told a number of people Martin Brodeur is my favorite player. You know, growing up, he was my childhood idol, so I think that makes it, extra special.
Everyone always talks about the speed, how it's different up here, and to get that goal so early in your career, does that also mean something a little bit more special, having adapted so soon?
Yeah, every game I'm just trying to get a little bit better, trying to work on, something maybe I didn't do well in that before. So I think to be able to score a goal early, kind of says something.
Too early to say if you've already made adjustments in your game, or are you feeling it?
I don't know. I'm feeling, like I said, a little more comfortable out there. I'm definitely not on the same level as these guys yet, but hopefully by the time the season's over, I'll be that much closer.
Seeing guys as well, like Bozak getting signed, I mean, do you see the trend knowing that there's a lot of guys that they're signing out of the NCAA system as well, collegiate schools, and you guys kind of have the same mind frame as well?
Yeah, definitely. Tyler and I have hung out quite a bit since he got here, and we've been talking, we talk quite a amount, and we kind of have the same mentality.
Well, Bob McGill, how would you compare Christian's efforts last night in New Jersey compared to those first two games against Philadelphia and Montreal?
Well, Paul, I think the biggest thing is he asserted himself a lot more in game number 3. Game 1, game 2, I think you're a little bit like a deer in the headlights where you're just trying to feel your way around, not make any mistakes or glaring mistakes where you get noticed. And I think that last night, obviously you get into the situation where he scores that first goal. And, for me, it took me 9 games to get my first goal, and let's hope that it's not so long before he gets his next one, because I think it took me almost 200 to get my next one. I don't think we'll have to worry about that with him.
Pretty good night for Hansen, a great night as well for Martin Gerber, who made 47 saves to pick up his 5th win as a member of the Maple Leafs last season, or at least last night. And as far as Gerber is concerned, Mark Morrow, and compare his play to his previous 2 games coming off that 3-game suspension, he was in a groove last night.
I don't think it'd be fair to compare his play last night to the previous 2 games, because the previous 2 were, quite frankly, just ugly, and I think he'd be the first one to tell you that, giving up 6 goals in each of those. But obviously a night and day performance last night. He was the difference in that game, especially on that 5-on-3 late in the first period. We just saw the one save that he made there. That was at a key moment. It's a 3-0 lead at that point. He doesn't make that save. All of a sudden, New Jersey has life. They're going in their mission feeling good. They may come out, and although they did throw everything they had at him, he withstood it. And, well, Ron Wilson commented that maybe not all 48 shots they faced, 47 saves, were top-quality chances. That's also a credit to him, because he controlled his rebounds very well. He anticipated very well, so he made sure that those 48 shots didn't become 50 and 60 and a bunch going behind him.
Well, we all had a chance to speak with head coach Ron Wilson this morning. I asked Ron, how do you improve your play inside your own zone to reduce the 47-shot onslaught that Martin Gerber felt last night?
I think our goalies play better when they get a lot of rubber, so we're getting out of the way now and trying to get them in shape for next year. Last night they had 48 shots, but they only 19 scoring chances, so it's not like the team had 28 or 29, which is what you would look at on a really bad night. We try to limit the other team to 15 or less scoring chances, so it didn't get too out of hand. And most of their scoring chances actually came when they were on the power play. So we've got to do a better job of staying out of the box. We talked about that last night, because usually New Jersey, they've got a top 10 power play, and our penalty killing basically due to Martin was excellent last night. The saves he made, especially in the 5-on-3, were huge.
Well, the Leafs are just 1 game below 500 heading into this game with the Sabres here tonight. And Bob McGill, you'd have to wonder just where they would be had their penalty kill, goaltending, and goals against it just been a wee bit better, because it hasn't been good.
Well, you're right, Paul. I mean, the biggest thing is your goals against, and they're last in the National Hockey League in goals against. Their penalty killing is 30th in the National Hockey League also. So their goaltending through the course of the year, Vesatoska obviously struggled through the course of the season. And if you look at some of the top teams in the National Hockey League, the Boston Bruins have 104 less goals against than the Toronto Maple Leafs do. So quite a contrast between first in the East and the Toronto Maple Leafs. So that's going to be the number one key as they move forward. If you want to make the playoffs, you've got to cut down your goals against, and your special teams have to be much improved come next year if they want to make a run at pushing to get into the playoffs.
Still lots to cover off as we count down to the puck drop here on Molson Canadian Leaf Nation pregame show, including Dominic Moore taking to the ice wearing a Sabres uni. He was a fan favorite when he was here. We'll also talk about teaming up green at the Air Canada Centre next.